All right, well, let's see whether the DN Supers can really tap into some of it here as we get into the draft for game number 1. And yes, we are talking like this is already a foregone conclusion. However, it is not. Everyone's Nexus has the same amount of health, the same amount of turrets defending it, and the minions will still come out at exactly the same times from either sides of the map, Hawks, okay?
I cannot dispute anything you're saying.
See?
And I'm not going to try to.
You can't, because it's all just facts. Unfortunately, the players controlling the characters on the map are going to be different, and that might come into play. As we have a look at some of the bans here, Orianna and the Cassiopeia being taken away, kind of looks like they're targeting closer, but no, these two bans are just the things that you have to do.
I will say, though, Cassiopeia has been a pick closers light to lean on, so
True.
I think it makes sense that they ban that away from him specifically. Even though, as you said, it is just generally a good ban. Karma and Rumble still open available. We've seen them falling out the must-ban sort of status recently.
They ban Karma and they leave up Rumble because they don't care about Keen. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
He'll just pick a tank into it.
He will.
Probably Cassante, and he'll just chill.
Oh my, it's just so predictable, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, the Karma is going to be taken away, and now the Rise looking to be the first pick here. With the Cassiopeia banned, it does make a little bit of sense.
But you know that Chovy will pick Anivia into it, and has a tendency to do so.
But she doesn't have as much armor anymore, Orcs.
Yes.
Well, he might do it. We'll see whether he is going to lock it away now. You can see we were hovering over him for a few moments before we headed over towards Ruler, and the Bard was left up. So that does feel like a bit of a big ticket pick here, as Dura has had some success on this champion. Ruler has been also gravitating towards the Jhin a whole lot more, but the Anivia will be picked up beforehand. And yeah, just an understandable pick into the Rise. I think it was Scout that really illustrated how difficult this matchup can be for Rise, but Chovy has also performed very, very well on this pick. And there's the Lee Sin for Pyosik. No surprise that he's going to lock that one away. This is something that Kanavi absolutely demolished on yesterday. And the Rumble up and available and will be snapped up by Dudu.
So now it's Genji. Do they want to prioritize an AD carry pairing with Bard? There is a lot of them already, so I don't think you need to. Do they want a jungler for Canyon into Lee Sin, or do they want a top laner for Keen into Rumble? Cassante is probably the go-to if they are picking for Keen, but it looks like they're going to prioritize an AD carry and go for the Caitlyn.
Imagine picking for Keen. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so Caitlyn Bard is pretty powerful.
At this point, I think Genji expected to put bans towards the bot lane and focus on some of those strong pairings like the Ashe Seraphine, Lucian Milio also available. And on the other side, for the DN Supers, you can just ban the Cassante away from Keen. If there are any junglers you really want to prioritize, maybe the Pantheon is something that Canyon has had a decent amount of success on.
Yep, I don't know whether the Xin Zhao is necessarily the most important ban. They're not necessarily representing a whole lot of synergy with it at the moment. But the Cassante is a very obvious one, so that one will be taken away first.
I mean, I also could see Canyon just going for the Skarner, which has seen more popularity, but has kind of been a pick for him specifically before that.
And a lot of traveling through walls if they do pick up.
Oh, yeah.
That would be almost too much.
They can... Chovy can build the walls and they can travel through it.
Oh my goodness, the synergy!
There you go.
That's extraordinary. Okay, well, the Lucian going to be taken away here. Dr. and Peter not going to be going towards the Lucian Milio, as there is the Nocturne ban away as well. Your mention of dabbling into some jungle bans is going to come true, at least for the moment.
So...
Any Scion enjoyers?
Yeah, there's a Scion available. We have seen Yorick into the Rumble as well, be fairly successful.
Yorick sounds like a lot of fun, which I don't know whether Keen will be allowed to do. Instead, it is going to be the Skarner lock-in like you were talking about. The wall traversal is going to be the idea here. And Canyon has been phenomenal on this champion, and honestly has been the most active in the early game on Skarner.
Yeah.
And Ashe Seraphine is available, so I think that the DN Supers are probably just going to pick it.
Yeah, they went for the Nautilus ban instead, which, you know, fair enough. We've seen the interactions of Nautilus and Bard's rotund hitbox, but Ashe Seraphine available is just going to be grabbed up by the DN Supers. And now Keen's pick, you have strong front line with the Skarner, you have a lot of control of your composition. you have a lot of liberty to choose what you want here. Even something like a Jace could make sense in this situation with a long-range poke.
Yeah, could be something that Keen could go towards. Imagine if he was allowed to have fun. And this looks like a champion that he could have some fun on. The Ambessa has been an answer to the Rumble that people have been dabbling with for a while. Hasn't found all that much success, but more recently, the Ambessa feels a bit better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that we saw buffs for the Ambessa because this was the matchup prior when Rumble was a bit higher priority and rarely getting through. When it did get through, we saw Ambessa into it, and it was a little bit of a struggle. But they've buffed Ambessa since then. More healing on the ultimate. A bit more damage early on, and as a result, this may fare better for Keen in this matchup. I mean, obviously, he's a very accomplished top laner. I think he had a lot of space to pick what he wanted here, but the threat of the Ambessa ultimate onto these immobile backliners like the Ashe and the Seraphine is very real.
Yeah, and also a little bit more difficult to get, you know, your kick target as far as the Ambessa is concerned. You can use that public execution to sort of deny it, buy you a little bit of space, and also reposition if Pyosik was going to try and be a little bit frustrating there. So a little bit of an opportunity here for Keen to really cause a ruckus in that back line. See whether it is going to work out. Are they back again? Was that our New Zealand friends one more time? Because that would be crazy if they were here 3 days in a row. Wow. But very, very impressive if they were. If I did completely misidentify them, I apologize profusely, but I'm pretty sure it was. Never mind. Let's get on to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1, Gen.G versus the DN Supers. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. On to the Rift for game number 1. Gen.G versus the DN Supers, a trap game if ever I've seen one. David versus Goliath. Everyone get your slingshots out. They'll do a bit more damage in this game, Orcs. That's what I'm thinking. And Doctom probably will build one.
Probably will. Ruler, I don't think... actually, if he goes rapid fire...
Yeah, he probably will.
Be in the build path, so probably will. We'll see. We'll see if that comes through. But... I think, you know, we got through draft. I think DNS have...
They haven't lost yet.
They have plenty of tools.
Indeed.
And I think they've gotten off to a decent start in that regard. But obviously the play has been a big issue, so we have to see how things pan out from here.
I mean, if nameplates were off, right? Take the nameplates off, Orcs, okay? And tell me which one of these drafts you like more.
I think I would lean towards DNS.
Me too. I think they've done a very good job.
Yeah. Sadly, the nameplates have come back on.
Yeah, unfortunately, the nameplates are back on. There's a Cosmic Binding. Duro going to Meep slap Peter. And Doctom just takes half of his health bar as Ruler is hitting the Peacemakers. And it's not exactly a whole lot of fun. Still, I mean, not dead.
To be honest, my one major concern with the DNS composition is playing into Skarner and Anivia Bard as an Ashe. I just struggle to see how consistently you're going to be able to get auto attacks off in fights.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So Doctom getting ahead will be great for him, but the fights might still be tricky regardless.
And Wolf coined Kissinger yesterday. Keep it simple, Rise Group. And I don't know whether DNS's composition necessarily follows that. You know, there's not a whole lot of frontline necessarily. I feel like you need your ducks in a row. You need all of your abilities to kind of land with perfect coordination, take out at least a member or two of Gen.G before the fight's really broken out, because otherwise you may not necessarily have that frontline to stand behind and get that damage through. But what's your opinion? Do you think this is Kissinger approved?
I think the one element of it that I like is that the Lee Sin Rise combo is pretty straightforward to get off, and then you have a lot of team fighting tools that you can play around. So I think it's not the easiest, but also not a particularly difficult composition to pilot. It's more so just the struggles they have into the enemy comp. But when you have big engage ultimates like the Ash Arrow, the Encore, and the Equalizer, I think that meets it.
Well, let's see whether it is going to work out here as Canyon is picking up rocks from the bottom of the river and throwing them at Pyosik a whole bunch. Pyosik will give up on his contest of this scuttle and will head over towards the top side to take that one down. Teleports back from our Mid laner on the Gen G side, Closer is just going to mosey on over there because he only has the Ghost and does not have a teleport available. Ruler down to about 200 health. As Duro with a little bit of an angle here, but doesn't find the Cosmic Binding, just electrocutes Doctor momentarily, who does find Canyon making his way in. That's a crash into the wall. First blood over to Ruler, and the second one over to Canyon. And already, Gen G find themselves 1.5k ahead.
Rough start, honestly. The pressure we saw from Ruler and Duro allows Canyon just to slide in. You can see Doctor knew it was coming as well, even fired the Hawk shot over to detect Canyon's presence. But it just doesn't mean anything if you can't prevent it. We did see them hold onto their flashes, which I guess is a silver lining, but I do wonder if maybe they could have made use of those in the dive. We'll see the replay here. They're already so low, but Ruler and Duro also pretty low. And that means Canyon has to be the one to tank, and this has to be a quick dive. You don't want any extra tower hits coming in. Peter doesn't end up flashing the stun, and we see Ruler just instantly destroying Doctor. I think they didn't play that super well, even though they were in a bad position going into it. I think maybe
could have
made it
better.
more difficult. Yeah.
And Ruler and Duro were like on 0 health, basically. And Canyon had to be the one that tanked it up and did so beautifully, we have to say. But wasn't a whole lot of focus there. And maybe with some flashes, it could have been a different story as Duro just going to frustrate Closer here.
It's just so annoying playing against any support or just a Bard who does this when he's trying to recall and you get stopped. And he's still going. He stopped him again.
Oh, no.
Oh,
and he has to stick around now.
And Chovia's level 6, so he's just going to be even more of a menace.
And now Canyon has stolen away the enemy blue. Pyosik was over there. He took a Gromp for himself, but is now going to spot that his bottom side jungle is now missing. And Canyon, now that he's over here on the Gromp, the DN Super's bottom lane are back. And so maybe he could kill them again. It is going to be a merciful Canyon this time, and he will slink back towards his bottom side jungle, or maybe even the Dragon Pit. We'll see where he does decide to go. But it looks like this gold lead might be steadily moving towards the blue side as far as the early game is concerned. That Peacemaker, just raw, straight into Doctor, really did hurt.
Yeah. And I think the thing with Canyon is he's really flexing the Skarner's early skirmishing power and just forcing Pyosik away, because the thing with the Skarner is he has so much early damage, which is why we kind of saw him played support even, because he just has really high base damages and not someone you really want to tangle with that much in the early game.
Yeah.
You see Pyosik constantly being respectful, and Canyon has now hit level 6 already, which just even more so doesn't want you opting into a fight in this situation.
Yeah, Pyosik is very far away from getting the Dragon Rage kick. Dudu is up here in the top lane, very used to this, the only one on his team with a gold lead, as the Cosmic Binding is just going to frustrate Peter momentarily. Doctor 50% health, feels like he has been throughout this entire game. As the Dragon is going to be taken here for Canyon. I don't know whether anything's really going to come of it, as now Dudu looking to chase down Keen. Doesn't find the first Harpoon, but does connect the second, and then gets distracted by a cannon minion. Dragon is going to be secured here by Gen G, and it looks like a bit of a return to base for Canyon will be the follow-up play, and so no diving once again. However, Doctor and Peter are just going for a reset.
They're already so far behind. It's almost 1,000 gold is the difference between 80 carries right now. Mid also has a massive advantage, partially helped out by Duro, who just came in and frustrated Closer.
And it's also a full level advantage for Ruler as well.
Yeah.
On top of everything. So Doctor is about to hit level 6, but Ruler's very close to level 7, and base damages matter. Oh man, this is a rough time for the DN Supers. And I was going to say, like, the silver lining is they're used to game states like this, but I don't know whether that's a silver lining.
The thing is, we've definitely seen games where DNS have done better in lanes and then fallen apart later, but I think against a team like Gen G, when you're already this far behind in terms of gold, 2,200 gold with only 2 kills on the board, it's a tough sell.
Well, we're going to have to find some skirmishes later or something.
We do have the Scout Slingshot from Ruler.
There we go.
I'm pretty sure David was supposed to have that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Goliath.
Imagine if Goliath...
Wait, Goliath stole the tech, man!
That's why it's such a hard matchup.
Oh, no! Oh, that is so unfair. Oh,
can you imagine...
We have the answers to everything.
If in the story, David turned up, like, ready to use a slingshot, and Goliath just had a massive one, with, like a boulder in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be so good. I think that, yeah, that story would have probably just, we would have passed on that story. It doesn't have the same message. And maybe there's been a few. Maybe it was just Gavin and Terry, you know, that was the story. And Terry, as it turned out, just had a bigger slingshot.
Yeah, I think the message of that story really was the power of slingshots as an armament.
It was actually a story designed by the slingshot sellers. and it just got in there as a result of them wanting to promote their slingshot sale that they had going on. As the arrow is going to be fired not from a slingshot, but from a bow. And Ruler is just going to watch it go by. We do have now Canyon joining in. Pyosik will be put into position, but does manage to land the kick, but the Impale was already there. Canyon looking to try and vacate the situation, but Doctom is layering down the damage, and that is Canyon falling down. DNS, they find one back.
I think Canyon just feeling like he's been unchecked this entire game, thinks he can just slide in and make the play happen despite Pyosik being there, but despite a lot of these tools being available. And the ult only connects on a Peter, which just means Doctom was able to free hit. Pyosik there with a follow-up. And DNS get a kill on the board.
Yeah, and Canyon, like, he had the money for his protoplasm.
So,
or whatever it's called.
There was a really weird interaction here with the kick on Canyon and the ult. Because the ult outline comes in, and then he gets kicked, but then it catches Peter despite Peter having not been in the original, so I guess it moved with him, even though the outline was still in place where he originally was.
That was very weird.
It was pretty weird, but ultimately, despite still catching Peter, not able to follow up on him, and DNS able to turn around the play. Still a big deficit in the bot lane, but
oh dear,
definitely helps a bit. Oh,
flash out of the public execution. Good positioning there for Keen, as Duro is going to start burning. Pyosik moves over. Gets some information here as the equalizer gets flashed on top of here by Duro. Not exactly the best, but Canyon just going to catch Pyosik and look to try and get some revenge. Dudu is over there, though, and Peter is going to show up. A 3 versus 3 now as Genji's health bars are looking a little worse for wear. Keen is going to move on over, though, and there's the Impale. Max range onto this Rumble, and then the Cosmic Binding to follow up. Now we've got a whole bunch of buttons being pressed as the mid laners turn up. Some circles being put onto the ground. As where did Peter go? He sort of just popped like a balloon as the arrow is going to connect onto Duro, who is taking a lot of punishment. As Chovy's going to show up, there is the wall, and there is the stun. I don't know whether this dive is going to be successful, but our closer is still in a whole lot of trouble as Keen is going to push the wave in.
Look, they're going to just go over the wall.
Oh no, Duro is, yeah, he's going to go over the wall. Canyon goes over his own way as the stun comes in and Duro is going to pick it up. Does die to the turret, but it's going to be just an execution as now underneath the turret is Ruler. Just trying to take some pot shots here at Doctom as plates are falling all over the place. It's almost a 4,000 gold lead.
Doctom has Ghost as well, so it didn't have Barrier, and I think if Ruler had connected, that would have just killed him, to be honest. So this play was very extended. They get the flash out of Dudu, and Dudu starts putting a lot of damage back in return. The equalizer, the flash from Duro, not ideal. Just burns a pretty heavy amount. Then Canyon comes in, lands the stun against the wall on Pyosik, and he's taking so much damage already. And then Peter, Pyosik, and Dudu are like, okay, we don't actually want to fight this, but Dudu's not in a position to get away. Just caught by the tip of that Impale. He goes down, Realm Orb comes in, but Canyon with the Protoplasm Harness is just so hard to cut through. And unfortunately for DNS, he's the one who bears most of the brunt of the damage, and it just ends up not really achieving too much. And now Closer, just unfortunately, not much you can do in this situation.
Yeah, a lot of wall traversal is going to allow Genji to pretty comfortably take this one. Duro pays for the kill steal with his life. A worthy sacrifice, though, as the Bard now 2-1-3, 100% kill contribution, and 100% death. Well, he was not actually 100% death contribution, but there is one kill for DNS, and it could have theoretically been him, but it was Canyon. Arrow is going to connect onto Ruler here, and it connected. It did connect onto Ruler here.
Well, at least we know Doctom's calibrated. That's
indeed
the message here. Closer has no flash, and they might look for him.
Ooh, that was cute. Tempered Fate is going to come on through. He is in the bush, but Canyon is going to move on over. There's the Impale, just going to line up onto Closer, and he doesn't have his flash, so he is very, very dead. Genji are just kind of behind turrets at 13 minutes, and there is not very much of a response.
You know, this Skarner Bard combo, it kind of reminds me when Genji were playing the Maokai Blitzcrank. Just had like the Maokai ult into the Blitzcrank hook, which is a really strong combo. Here it's the fact that they can just both fly over walls, and then Skarner slams him into terrain, and Bard can just stun after.
Yep, or Bard can then set up with the Tempered Fate, and then Canyon can easily wall slam anyone that gets caught in it, and the Impale can easily be set up as well to get flashes or kills. The combo looks pretty good, and also Duro is everywhere. And so he's going to come up and kill Dudu again.
Yeah, still at 100% kill participation at this point. Ruler and Duro have had a great early lane, and then Duro has just been everywhere for Gen G. 7-1 so far, 5,000 gold lead at 14 minutes.
Oh, man, he even gets away from Pyoshik here by blast coning himself to safety. Some information about where the jungler is as well, as Keen looks to come up and grab himself another plate potentially. Yeah, Closer is not allowed to be here. He got that information last time he wasn't allowed to be here about 2.5 minutes ago. He's going to look to try and get himself out of this, but it's not going to work as Chovy gets the interrupt. And that is Canyon just going places and getting kills for his teammates. Duro is now not 100% kill contribution, though,
yeah,
so that's sad.
There, so unfortunate. Couldn't make his way down. This is that Ash arrow.
Why did... But why? Why did we get... Why did we replay that?
Just to prove that it happened.
It almost felt like BM. Oh, no. All right, well, Dudu took a turret shot, but Duro being there was the biggest problem. And Duro he's still there.
This game right now is feeling more of a fight between Canyon and Duro for POM than a fight between DNS and Gen G, because DNS is just struggling.
Yeah, and now Dudu's tower is going to stop working. Chovy is going to pick up another kill as he gets a very comfortable stun onto the Rumble. And look at that flash cooldown. It just came back up.
That's tragic.
That's timing. Very nicely done there by Gen G. Got to give him credit for it, even if it was potentially a mistake, just an accident. Still being able to time that one really, really nice.
I feel like we so often see teams get kills just before the flash.
It feels very deliberate, doesn't it?
I think it's always, to me, a hallmark of sharp timers, like precise timers being done by these players. We were able to dodge away from that one, so we won't get a replay of that Ash arrow hitting.
Unless we do.
Oh, maybe just like this is what happens when it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
Outcome, exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't know. 9-1, though, is the kill score. And Gen G are in a very, very good position. They just picked themselves up the Rift Herald as well. They'll be able to use that to take down a couple of these turrets if they would like to. Only one plate left in this mid lane as there is
nice flash.
Great flash from Duro. Avoids the kick flash from Pyoshik, although it must have been a flash kick. Oh, sorry, a safeguard kick, yeah, so flash is still up.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to flash out of a kick flash.
Yeah, able to get away from that one pretty well. CC DNS trying to set up some of these picks. I think that's a big factor of what they're looking for right now is picks around with the Lee Sin kick or the Ash Arrow, just trying to find that, because in a 5v5, 3v3, 2v2, any variation where it's even numbers, they're not in a good spot. They are not winning that.
Yeah, I think I'd probably want to go an extra 2. As Doctor able to ghost out of the way of the Tempered Fate. It's very nicely done. A second charge comes through for Shelly. And more plates are going to rain down from these turrets on DNS's side. They are able to deal with the minion wave, but this is already a pretty ridiculous siege set up by Gen G as the public execution gets a flash out of Doctor. That is going to make this Ashe very susceptible. And Ruler is just, doing the Caitlyn thing where you kill all of their stuff.
Yeah, it's an 8,000 gold lead at 17 minutes.
For those playing at home, that is a large gold lead.
That's rather substantial.
Yeah. Oh, dear. All right, now, you were saying that we were getting a little bit of flack, perhaps, or maybe some feedback that perhaps we're not talking about the game enough in a lot of our games. We have been talking about the game quite a lot because there's been a lot of action, a lot of things going on, a lot of Duro roaming around. But what was your solution? You proposed a solution to how we would change our behavior.
I think just every couple of minutes, we should just go back to talking about focus in on key factors of the game. So,
and so wait. We're
about to hit 18 minutes.
All right, so that's a couple of minutes. So now give me the check-in.
So I think we should talk about perhaps how the game state. The game state is a good one. So
how is the game state?
Not good. It's not very good.
How is it for Keen? It's also not looking fantastic here as he doesn't have his ultimate. He is pretty tanky, but there is a lot of damage coming out from Dr. Arm as Keen does manage to make it into the Tempered Fade. There's the Encore, but it's flushed, and Keen stays alive, takes down the Ash. Oh my goodness, Closer is going to try and get this kill, but it's another shield to come through from Keen, and Closer just loses interest. He flashes out of the way. Duro might be the one going down, but Keen is going to remain alive. He's going to go back in, of course he is, and then he dies. He's like, you guys, you deserve this. And we missed our window for a check-in, but it looks a little bit better now.
It does look a little bit better now. We did the check-in before. It looked not good. Now it looks not particularly good, but that's a little bit better than it was before.
We've upped it a notch.
Yes.
Oh, one notch has been gained. Maybe another notch available here as Ruler is going to get harpooned and likely taken down in trade for this turret. There he goes.
You know what? They've been looking for the picks. And that is something that compositions, another thing we should do is we should talk about the compositions again.
Oh, yes, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
so what do these compositions do?
Well, DNS has a lot of pick tools, and they're looking for picks. So
oh! Sorry, I got too excited. Pyoshik is also able to steal away a red. Was he? No, he wasn't able to steal away the red. That was Canyon. They were sharing some pixels there. I wasn't entirely sure. Wanted to be staying positive here as Pyoshik does look to engage onto Canyon. I think he did some buttons that theoretically did damage, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, Canyon is pretty tanky at this point.
And he's also very musically inclined and can hold up his pants.
That is very true. You know, having a Bard and a Bandle pipes on the team, it's a pretty good vibe, I think.
Oh yeah, you could say that they've certainly kept up the morale. And thankfully, Canyon able to carry that one through.
Max, we did just hit 20 minutes.
Oh, sorry, yes. And so the check-in once again, please. Can you let me know how this game is going?
So the gold graph came up at the perfect time to say we're still not particularly good, I think, is the
However, did you see the bit where it was going up linearly to the right?
Yeah. And
then stopped doing that as much?
There's also a neat trick I've actually developed. So if you look at the scoreboard and you just cover up everything but Pyoshik, 2-0-1. That's good.
Having a great performance.
Yeah, the Lee Sin.
And if you cover up the score lines and the items, and you just look at Dudu and the CS numbers, absolutely fantastic. Look,
he's up in gold by
he's had almost 20 CS. Crazy. All right, there's some positivity there. We'll check back in a minute's time. As Tempered Fate is not going to quite connect onto the targets, but Keen finds a public execution onto Peter the Encore. I don't really want to hear it again, to be perfectly honest. As Chovy walls them off, Closer is not allowed to lead via the jungle, and now Dudu has to stand and fight, but he's surrounded by Genji players. Ruler brought his friends this time, and the stun connects from Chovy's Anivia, and that will be the end of the Rumble. That ace in the hole was pretty ambitious there from Ruler wanting to take that kill. As Genji, they're going to just walk on over towards the Baron.
Okay, well,
Arrow, just barely. Chovy flapping pretty quickly here as Pyoshik comes on over to check in on his ex-teammate, and he just gets walled off. He can traverse the walls, though, with a resonating strike, but going into 4 people alone is not something that he really wants to do, as Keen is going to find him and look to take him down. Another ace in the hole comes through, and Keen will let him live.
He's feeling very merciful.
He really is showing mercy today.
Well, I think we've got to move it back up. It's gone.
Yeah, sorry, not 2 minutes, as it's 22 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, so it was not particularly good. Before that, it was not good. I think we're at very not good at this point, with the Baron coming in for Genji and a 9,000 gold lead. I think that's the point we've hit.
Is the next one doomed, or are we at doomed already?
I think doomed is a bucket term for a lot of the notches.
Yeah, okay.
That's like the category.
Oh, so we're already in the doomed category.
Yes.
Oh no.
And then the levels of not good are within the doomed category. But
I feel like we're talking about like animal classifications. You know, like which kingdom are we in? Oh dear.
They might find a pick on a Duro here.
All right, that might help get them out of doomed. Let's see whether they can make it happen. He is way tankier than he has any right to be, as the Tempered Fate is going to connect to try and interrupt the Realm Warp. That is going to allow Canyon to get on over here, but the rest of his teammates aren't quite around. However, he is somewhat immune to damage. Gets the crash into the wall onto Pyosik. He gets over the wall from Chovy as the Impale is going to go wide. The net fails from Ruler, and he doesn't have a flash to join the fight. Now you've got Chovy being brought down to the egg, and we are escaping to... Maybe we're going to be staying in Doom. Keen is kind of just eliminating the base, but Canyon might be going down. Doctom is going to find him, and that's a kill. Over to Closer. 3 are on the floor now for Gen G. DNS, they're making their way back into this game.
That was a lot of gold going over to DNS. Some big blunders there. Oh!
Yeah, Rune Prison comes on through. Doctom is flashing forward onto Ruler, and he will be able to claim another one. That is theoretically 4 dead. Duro has respawned since, but I am claiming that as part of it. And look at that Rebel Baron power play. It is in the floor.
You know what? I think it might be happening. I think we might be edging out of Doomed.
Yeah, this is looking like the trajectory is going back in the favor of the DN Supers, and it all started here.
Yeah, so Duro does everything he can to escape this, but sometimes you're just dead. He goes down, and then Canyon moves in, but he's not even saving Duro at this point. Duro's already dead. He's just moving into contest. And then there was a couple of things here. They get damage on Pyosik, but he safeguards out, and then Ruler's trying to kill him, and then it decides against it, fails the net over the wall. And that's when the double combo of the Encore and the Equalizer come through to take out Chovy. And as if that wasn't enough, Canyon walks up here trying to throw rocks at people. They don't appreciate that.
And
not
why?
Even using a slingshot.
Yeah.
Should probably put that to use. And then Ruler gets flashed on and just taken out. So a series of errors from Gen G. They're still... Oh,
okay. A bit of a kick.
Kicked in towards his teammates.
That was very similar to the arrow. What is it with that part of the map and just weird uses of ultimates? As the Equalizer comes down, that will just deter them for the moment as the wall is going to be set up there as well. Dudu down to about 50%. That is a decent encore. And Canyon in a lot of trouble. Is able to get himself to relative safety. Is the public execution not quite going to work? But Keen still has a bunch of extra buttons. Closer is going to go down, you have to think, and Ruler is going to claim it. And Gen G continuing their siege. And DNS, they cut down the gold difference by a massive margin, but they are still extraordinarily far behind. And it's another great wall as Doctom is just ticking down. Does get Mikhails out of the stun from Chovy, but the turret is not going to be able to be afforded the
low
same
health
luxury.
bars.
Possible angle here.
You can tell he wanted to go for that.
Oh yeah, and Dudu almost has his Equalizer back up as well.
Yoshik's kick's coming up.
All right, he'll connect the Q there at the same time. Let's see whether he goes in. He decides not to. Actually, may not have even been able to get into range.
Okay, so a lot of damage to structures. Gen G still with a sizable gold lead, but DNS holding on and showing that when fights go their way, they can actually come out ahead. Closer now has 5 kills and some great items for the Rise.
Wait, you're saying that if they win fights, they'll be better in the fights?
Yes.
Nice.
So here, Dudu actually with a really good ult before he gets caught by the Tempered Fate to keep them from just killing him immediately, from getting traps down. We see the Encore so close to catching Ruler and Chovy, but Ruler dodges it, Chovy gets Mikhails. And then unfortunately, this is kind of the struggle that the Rise can have into an Anivia port out here.
Yeah, and the maxed wall is just massive.
Okay.
You can really just kind of wall them off from the entire mid lane.
Earlier we were in Doomed. It kind of feels like we're in Struggle Street, which, you know, isn't great still, but it's feeling more competitive.
Yeah, it's a step up. Absolutely. And you can see here, Struggle Street is undulating in the gold graph. We're going to see an Impale, though, onto Dudu. He's going to get pulled back. The wall is going to keep him in position for a while. And the dead turret is the problem. Yoshik gets a nice little kickback, but Dudu is not going to be spared from that one. And now Keen gets delivered to Doctom via Closer, who just realm warps his way out. He does not want anything to do with this. And honestly, I don't blame him, as this is looking very, very difficult. Gen G managing to win the team fight, and they're now looking to push towards Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I think DNS thought they'd made it out of Doomed. We're down Struggle Street, turn a corner, back in Doomed.
Yeah, and Doomed is a cul-de-sac, as it turns out, and they're going to need to slow down and do a U-turn, and it's a bit of a problem. As Canyon drives Closer into a wall, and should be able to do a fair bit of damage here with the help of Chovy. He manages to take him down, as now Keen getting to work on these turrets. And Peter is going to get slammed into the wall. Well, not quite, but does still get taken down as a result. And Gen.G will claim game number 1 after an extraordinarily decisive early game, and especially those first couple of dives in the bottom lane.
Everything that happened there, because they had some good fights, as you said, but that was still tough. That was a tough game, tough start, and even though they managed to get some kills on the board and find some picks in the mid game, I think just kind of an insurmountable goal lead. Even after all that comeback, they were still like 6,500 gold behind.
Yeah.
아니야 그냥 위로 올라갈게.
나 텔대 썸나.
여기 한번 쌈. 가볼게요.
예쁘다.
펄 있다 얘. 따닥 맞춰놨고.
땡겨.
나 테레타 공좀 봐도 될 듯 이거. 럼블 높.
야 리신. 나 괜찮아. 리신 높이 놓고.